So, screencasting practice test for Caitlin. I wish you could follow along. So, blah blah blah, chapter 7 practice test, solve each proportion. I hope by now we're comfortable solving proportions. Butterfly method, cross multiply, whatever you want to call it. 10 times x is 10x. 7 times x plus 3, so 7 times x plus 3. Don't forget to distribute out your 7, so you have 7x plus 21. Subtract 7x from both sides, you have 3x equals 21. Divide by 3, we see x is equal to 7. Next one. Oops. X is equal to 7. Alright, was that too fast or is this okay? Alright, so I want you guys to be able to like try this a little bit. So cross multiply. Here we go, 3 times 6 is 18. And then you're taking x minus 5 times x plus 2. So we have to FOIL this out. So 18 is going to equal to x squared minus 5x, first outer, so plus 2x, inner minus 5x, last negative 10. So I have x squared minus 3x, right? 2x minus 5x. I'll subtract 18 on both sides minus 28 equals 0. So I did 2 steps in one. I combined the 2x terms on the right side, then I moved the number from the left side to the right side. Okay, and this is the point we get stuck on. So once you hit 0 equals x squared blah x blah number, right, that ax squared plus bx plus c. You're looking for what adds to the middle, negative 3, but multiplies to negative 28. Okay, so what did you say it was? Negative 7 and 4. Okay, let's multiply them. You get negative 28. You add them, you get negative 3. So I'll replace this by saying x minus 7 and x plus 4. And then, of course, to solve, what you need to do is take each term and set it equal to 0. X minus 7 equals 0. So I have add 7 on both sides. X equals 7. Set x plus 4 equal to 0. Subtract 4 on both sides, you get x equals negative 4. So those are your two solutions. X equals 7 and negative 4. Awesome. Let's keep going. Yeah. Alright. A photo that is 4 inches wide and 5 inches high was enlarged so that it is 16 inches wide. What is the height of the enlargement? Okay, so I'm going to do wide over high. So if I have 4 wide, 5 high, and it's enlarged, so that way it's 16 wide, I want to know what is the new height. Setting up your proportion correctly is a tough part. Otherwise, it's just crisscross applesauce, butterfly method, cross multiplication, whatever you want to call it. That's all it is, which you guys are capable of doing. So that's why I wrote over here wide over high, just to remind myself, okay, original, right, here's my OG, here's my new one. So originally I had 4 wide, 5 high, my new I have 16 wide, I don't know how high. So I'm going to cross multiply 4x equals, so let's see, 16 times 5 is 80. Divide by 4. I see x is equal to 20. But it's asking for the height, so I have to make sure to include units. So I don't want to just say 20, I want to say 20 inches because it's actually asking for how high it is. Alright. So far, so good?
Yes.
Alright, Philip had been eating 3 hamburgers every 5 days.
Hamburger.
At that rate, how many hamburgers will you eat in 30 days? Alright, that is a lot of hamburgers. It's making me hungry. Burgers per day. Alright, so I have 3 burgers every 5 days. So, I don't know, in 30 days, how many burgers? So just writing it out for myself, burgers is on top, days on bottom, that helps me. So do a little crispy crust, applesauce, french fries, whatever. 90 equals 5x divided by 5. 18 equals x. Every month he has 18 hamburgers. This man's gonna have a heart attack. Alright, so notice I said 18, but it's asking for how many hamburgers. Oh, so it's 18 hamburgers. Why hamburgers? Show some cheeseburgers up in there.
Hamburger.
Alright. Huh?
Hamburger.
Cool, okay. Number 5, find the indicated measures. The ratio of the measures of the sides of a triangle are 7 to 9 to 12. Its perimeter is 84. So I can't just go say, oh, the sides are 7 inches, 9 inches, 12 inches. Nuh-uh. That does not add up to 84. Because remember, perimeter, what does perimeter mean again? Let's go with Dylan. What is perimeter? Like, give me a good definition. What's perimeter? Exactly. Take all the sides, add them up. It's like if you wanted to have a fence. It's the distance around it. Okay, so distance around a triangle, I'll just add up all the sides. So I know I'm going to have to multiply all the sides by a certain number. I don't know what number yet, so I'm just going to fit in an x, have a little variable so I can solve for what number would make that true. Perimeters when you add them all up. So 7 plus 9 is 16. 16 plus 12, 28. 28x equals 84. Divide by 28 on both sides. We find that x is equal to 3. Okay, so that is telling me what I'm filling in for my x. So if I wanted to find these sides, I will fill in 7 times 3, 21. 9 times 3, 27. 12 times 3, 36. And its units is inches. We need to make sure we label the units. It's asking for the measures of the lengths. So you have to include. So you always like look at what do I want? What is the question asking for? 21 inches. 27 inches. 36 inches. Versus number 6 is asking for the measures of angles, which are in degrees. The ratio of the measures of angles in a triangle are 4 to 5 to 6. Find all 3 measures. Well, how many, what's the sum of angles in a triangle? 180. So I know 4x plus 5x plus 6x equals 180. Here, x is standing for what I have to multiply each side by in order for this like puzzle to work out, because I have to keep the ratio of the sides, 4 to 5 to 6. Alright, 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 6 is 15. 15x equals 180, divide by 15. I see that my x is equal to 12. Alright, so if I want to find my angle measurements, I take 4 times 12, 5 times 12, 6 times 12. And those are my degrees. So I come up here and when I write it, I make sure to include my degree. Cool. Alright, I feel you guys are pretty comfortable with that because we didn't really mess this up on the quiz. So that was good job.
Yay.
Alright. Determine whether each pair of triangles is similar. If yes, give a reason. Okay, so we need a little work on this. So I'm going to slow down just a tad. And let's go around. Let's have Noah explain number 7.
It's Noah time.
So you see, this is the degrees are both 37. So that's rad. They both have an 18, but So 18, this is the shorter side length. It should match up with the shorter side length. The longer side length should match up with the longer side length. Right? The ratio should be the same. All right. Do you have an idea of how to do this? Yep, this is what we're trying to check. We're trying to check, is the ratio the same?
No.
So I have the same angle in order, because I'm trying to click side angle side for this. That means the ratio for 12 over 18, because this is the corresponding side, has to be the same ratio as this 18 over 24, because that is the corresponding side. And if I could simplify and see if the fractions are the same, or I could cross multiply. So 18 squared, is that the same thing as 12 times 24? Let's see, so this is 324. And 12 times 24 is 288. That's not the same. I also could say, so this is like way 1 of proving it. Way 2 is like, oh, let me simplify the fractions. So 12 over 18, same thing as 2/3. Is that the same thing as 18 over 24, same thing as 3/4? It's not. Those are not the same fraction. Yeah. Not the same fraction. 2/3 and 3/4 are not the same. All right. Let's go to the next one, Jacob. How would you do this one? Oh, come on, load. What? All right, how would you do this one?
Sorry, 32 over that.
So first, the vertical angles. And then, okay, so in similar triangles, how do the angles of two similar triangles compare? Yeah, they're the same. So I have to have exactly the same angles. So first, I have vertical angles, then what?
You have to bring it up.
What would you do next? So I know, yeah, I have to check to see if all three angles are the same. So I know that the total number of angles in a triangle is 180. So 180 minus 42 plus 46. So that's 88. So that's 180 minus 88. So that's 92 degrees. Yeah. So I see that this angle is 92. And just to be, consistent, here we go. So let's do the other triangle. 180 minus 95 plus 42. Same thing as 180 minus 137. So that'd be 43 degrees. Does that math add up right? Maybe. Okay. So Jacob, are these similar? No, they're not. And the reason is because I can't use, okay, so in the first one, I wanted to use side angle side, but the sides didn't have the same ratio. Number 8, I wanted to use angle angle, but I didn't actually have two angles that matched. So this is also no. We need two congruent angles, and here I only had the one, right? The other two weren't the same. Sucks. Okay, let's go to number 9, Dylan. Okay, so 9 over 10. Short over longer, and then that should equal what? $28.8 over, okay, So you kind of like go in order. So the biggest side on this triangle has to go with the biggest side here. So the yellow shows the biggest. The green, the smallest side, has to line up with the smallest side. So since 28.8 is right in the middle, you have to use the other one that's right in the middle, which is 32. If you put 28.8 divided by 32 into your calculator, what do you get?
Yay.
What do you get?
Fine.
There's one person who wants participation for the day. Here we go. Let's see what. Because we know 9/10 as a decimal is 0.9.
I did first. Yes, I did. I'm gonna strangle you.
What?
It's a joke.
No, there's just certain things. We've talked about this before. Certain things we talked about this before. Certain things you cannot say. Cannot say
we know
out
our
loud.
good friends. We know each other.
I don't care. Don't threaten
Oh,
violence.
come on.
You guys may be good friends, but I don't know you. I don't know you. Don't be threatening.
Okay. I'm gonna hug you.
Who?
Give Noah a big
That's
hug.
even more uncomfortable. Alright, so 9/10 as a decimal is 0.9. 28.8 divided by 32 is 0.9. Those are the same numbers, so those match out. What I need to do is make sure that the last one is also equal. So I know that that's equal. Is 36.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Is 36 over 40 the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's also equal to 0.9. Or you could simplify this. 36 divided by 2 is what?
It's 9 times.
Yeah, you divide each by 4. 36 divided by 4 is 9. 40 divided by 4 is 10, so it's also 9/10. So they are all congruent. All right, Dylan, what should I write on my second line? They're all, I'm sorry, side, similarity. So they're all congruent, but all the proportionals are the same. So as a constant scale factor. All right. Use the diagram below for problems 10 through 12. Write a similarity statement for the triangles. Find the scale factor. Solve for x. All right, Ashton, you're up.
I'm up. Ooh, it's my turn. Okay, so here, what we're going to want to do is following problems. Okay, write a similarity statement for the triangles. Okay, so I would say that triangle CDE is similar to triangle so C.
Well, first thing I would do,
Yeah,
let's make sure let's make sure they are equivalent.
But you didn't ask for that.
Well, I'm trying to help you, so I'm labeling things that we know are the same. So I know at point C, there's a pair of vertical angles. I know since these two parts right here are parallel lines, I'll have a set of alternate interior angles. Angle A and angle E will be congruent. So that will help you name them. So you could say triangle ACB is going to be similar to triangle ECD. Because remember, order is important. So I started at A with the 2 hash tags, right? The 2 lines in my angle. Then I went to C with the 1, and then I went down to B with none. So I have to start, when I'm naming my similar triangle, I start with the one that has 2 lines, which is E, go to the angle that only has 1, C, and then to the angle that has none, D. So I'm trying to like...
So did it wrong? No.
I don't know, I was just trying to justify why.
It's CDE and CBA. That is wrong. CBA. CDE.
So when you name them, it has to be important. Alright, find the scale factor. How do I find the scale factor? Yep.
Scale factor. How do I find the scale factor from that to that? Okay. So
yeah, and remember, it's from ACB to DCE. So this is the bigger one to the smaller one. So just as a quick check, should my scale factor be greater than or less than 1?
It should be greater.
Should be greater than 1. Okay, how do I do
What
this?
you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add the 2 things up. So it's going to be 12 plus, this is how I do it at least, 12 plus x minus 1.
Where's the x?
And
Yeah, 18 over 12.
Or you can just do 18 over 12. I just do the whole thing.
Which is equal to 3 over 2.
Yay.
Okay, and then we can solve for x. Ashton, how to do that one?
Solve for x. What you do is you just compare the two, and you do you do the thing with the cross multiplication. You do 12 and 18.
Are you guys done with this one?
12.
Okay.
And then you do 1, and then DE and that other thing, and you get
Alright, so solve for x. I know my scale factor. Big triangle to small is 3 over 2.
X plus 3 over x minus 1.
Alright, so I'm gonna go over it. So 3 over 2 is a scale factor, and it's the big triangle to small. So I have big over small is going to equal the big unknown side, x plus 3, over the small unknown side, x minus 1. And then, as he said, we're going to cross multiply. So 3 times x minus 1
equals 3x
is equal to 2 times x plus 3.
2x
and then I'm going to distribute out. I'm going to distribute out 3x minus 3 equals 2x plus 6. Subtract 2x from both sides. And then I'm going to add 3 on both sides. So that goes away, that goes away. 3x minus 2x is x, and equals 9. X equals 9. Cool. Awesome. Alright, so in triangle PQR, ST and QR are parallel to each other. Alright, so if PS is equal to 14 and SQ is equal to 12, TR is equal to 7, find PT, so that's X. I think we're back to Noah. How would you go about this one?
X over 14
Equals
7 over 12.
Yeah, so x over 14 equals 7 over 12. So you have 12x is equal to 7 times 14, 70, 98. Divide by 12 on both sides. X is equal to 98 over 12, but we can simplify this. They're both divisible by 2, so it's the same thing as 49 over 6. So x equals 49 over 6. Awesome. Oh man, now I have new numbers. I gotta erase. Alright, Jacob. PS equals 8. PS equals 8. SQ 7. QR is 21. Find ST. Did you say? Well, so let's see. Like, I think if I highlight it, it'd make it better. So here's one small triangle, right? Versus the big triangle. So what am I going to need to list? This whole side is 15. Because you're trying to do like corresponding sides, right? So if you do, so I know PQ is 18. I'm sorry, 15. P to Q equals 15. It's a hard one. All right, Jacob. Continue on. So how would you do this? 8 over 15. So like the small side over the total big side. The small side x over the total big side 21. Do we see where 15 came from?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So small side over the total big. Small over the total big. crisscross. 8 times 21 equals 15x. So 168 equals 15x. Divide by 15 on both sides. Exactly. X equals 56 over 5. I appreciate that it's already simplified. You gave it to me in simplified form. Awesome. Perfect. All right, and over to Dylan. If ST is a mid-segment of PQR, find ST if QR is 30. Okay, let's erase all this. What does it mean to be a mid-segment? What does that mean for us? It's the middle, right? And so a mid-segment means, how does the length of ST compare to QR? Well, the lines are parallel, but how's the length compare? ST is half of QR. The mid-segment is half of the long side underneath it. So if QR is 30, it's just going to be half of 30, which is 15. Yeah, pretty sweet, pretty sweet. Okay.
One more hour.
All right, I'm going to pause here, and I want you guys to give it like a minute and try 16, 17. All right, so give me a little time to work on this. Let's go ahead and let's do this next one. So find the value of x. So I'm going to label everything first. So I know that ST and QR are parallel. So ST is parallel to QR, so I'm going to make sure to draw my little parallel line symbols in. Okay. Now I have T to S is equal to 6. P to S is x plus 7. Q to R is 8. S to R is x minus 1. Okay, so this whole segment, this whole part right here is going to be the addition of my two little segments. Because I have P to S, and if I add it S to R, I'll have P to R. So x plus 7 plus x minus 1. So this whole thing is going to be 2x plus 6. Alright, so I'm trying to find the value of x. And I need to use proportions. So I see I have two triangles here. I have this triangle, and then I have this larger one right here. So I'm going to do small triangle segment over big triangle segment equals small triangle segment over big triangle segment. So 6 over 8 is going to equal, alright, so I have the green segment over the blue. I'm going to have my green segment, x plus 7, over my total segment, 2x plus 6. And once you have that, it's just setting up the proportion. That's the difficult part. Then it's just cross, multiplying, solving for x. So 8 times x plus 7 is going to equal 6 times 2x plus 6. Don't forget to distribute to both terms. 8x plus 56 equals 12x plus 36. Minus 36 on both sides. Let's see, minus 8x. So 56 minus 36 is 20. 12x minus 8x is 4x. And if I divide both sides by 4, I see x is equal to 5. Yes. I could have done big over small. I could have done 8 over 6 and 2x plus 6 over x plus 7. We would have got the same answer. Yeah. So as you can tell, I'm very much a visual person, so I like color code it so I can see what I'm doing. And I apologize, I tend to like do it the same way every time to make sure I'm like always correct. Yeah. I could do the large over the small, but x equals 5. So now we want to find the lengths of p to s and p to r. Alright, so we know p to s is, they told us it was x plus 7. So plugging in 5, we get p to s is 12. So this question, I mean, it kind of sucks because you have to get number 16 right in order to get 17 right. But as you guys have seen, if you at least use the number you found in 16, I would just say carry through error and give you the points. But the important part is showing work. Let me see your thought process. All right, p to r. P to r is 2x plus 6. So 2 times 5 plus 6 is 16. Okay. Sweet. Alright, determine whether, we want to know if they are parallel. J, K, and NM are parallel, given the following information. Okay. So if I write out what's given to me, J to N is 18. J to L is 30, which means that N to L is 12. Okay. You see I got that? 30 minus 18. That'll just give me the slot that they didn't tell me, which is 12. Because JN plus NL have to equal 30 total. Alright. K to M is 21. And M to L is 35. So what I want to do is if I do a ratio, let's say I have two triangles. I have this blue triangle, and then I have the pink triangle. So I'm going to do 18 over 30. So that small segment over the total, I don't know, is that equal to this small segment over the total, so equal to 21 over 56. How did I get 56? I added 21 plus 35. Okay, is this the same thing? If I simplify these fractions, 18 and 30, they both have a factor of 6. So if I divide both of them by 6, I have 3 over 5. Is that the same thing as, let's see, 21 and 56, both factors of 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 56 divided by 7 is 8. Okay, 3/5 and 3/8, that's not the same thing.
No.
It's not the same ratio. We can't do that. Alright, and then I gotta go through and I need to erase this so I can show you the other one. Alright, so K to M 24, K to L 44, so that means that this is 20. NL equals 5/6 of NJ. Okay, so I'll have this X, and I'll have this be 5/6X. If it says it's 5/6 of NJ, if NJ is X, then it's going to be 5/6 of X. Okay. So if I do this segment over that one, I could do, it should be the same proportion as this segment over that one. So if I do 5x over 5/6x over x, what does this give me? I want to see what the proportion is. So x cancels out, and this is 5/6. And if I do 20 over 24, So let's divide both these by 4. That's also 5/6. They have the same ratio. They have the same proportion. We could do it that way. So I could say 20 over 44 would be equal to 5/6x over x plus 5/6x. That is 11. Where are you looking? Right here? Okay, if I put 24 there, I'll just put x here. I'll put x there. So, let's see, x, the x's cancel out here. 1 divided by 11/6, divide by a fraction, same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So 6/11. This right here should simplify to 6/11. If I divide by 4 on both these, that's 6/11 as well, dividing by 4. So we have the same ratio. So the ratio I got the first time may not be the same ratio you got, but the fact that like when I set up my proportion, both of them are showing me that it's equal. Okay. Bobbleheads. Okay. So yes, we said this is parallel. Find the value of x and y. Alright, so check it. I have 3 sets of parallel lines. Boom, boom, boom. And they cross a transversal. They cross that line and they cut it into congruent segments. Cut it into congruent segments, right? Since this is congruent right here, I can set 3x minus 4 equal to 5/4 x plus 3. I just need to zoom in a little bit so I have more room. 3x plus 4. What the heck? Disappear. I erased you. Okay. 3x plus 4 equals, huh? Oh, minus 4. A 5/4 x plus 3. 5/4 x plus 3. So I don't like working with fractions. So do you know what I'm going to do?
Zap it.
How?
With your gun.
Multiply every single thing by 4. Every single thing by 4. 3x times 4 is 12x. Minus 16. So 4 times 5/4, the bottom goes away, and I'm left with 5x. So here the trick is 5/4 multiplying by 4. Well, 4 is the same thing as 4/1. Those will cancel out, and I'll just be left with the 5.
Nice.
Okay, so we're good on that. We're good on that little trick. And it's just much easier. Look, we're working with whole numbers. This is much better, much better. 7x. I'm going to add 16 on both sides. 28 divided by 7. X equals 4.
This water's like...
Pause. You don't need it. Not needed.
Amazing.
Fractions are amazing. But I'm trying to give you a little like
I hate this.
This is not appropriate. I've already asked you to stop talking about it. Okay, what? First part of. I'm gonna be fine. You just have to imagine taking 3x minus 5/4 x. That's fine. You'll get the same answer at the end. It's just what I noticed in the past year teaching intermediate algebra is people struggle with fractions, so I'm trying to give them a way to deal with it healthily.
I did that and got it.
What'd you do? Not multiply it out? So wait, you did 3x minus 4 equals 5/4 x plus 3? Okay, what was the first thing you did? Subtract 3x on both sides? Okay, you subtracted 3. Okay. 3x minus 7 equals 5/4 x. Okay. Then what'd you do? Do you see your...
I did plus 7 I got the 5 over 4 and x.
Ah, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I'll just finish this out so we can see what's going on here. So I'll subtract 3x, subtract 3x. Oof. Negative 7 is equal to, okay, 5 over 4 minus 3 over 1. I have to have it to have the same bottom. So this is the same thing as 5 fourths x minus 12 fourths x. So that's negative 7 fourths x. So negative 7 equals negative 7 fourths x. So if I multiply by the reciprocal on both sides, multiply by 4 over negative 7. Multiply by 4 over negative 7. Negative 7 cancels out because those guys go away. I'm left with 4 equals x. So we have the same answer. It's just, you kind of see how this is messy because then we have to deal with fractions multiple times. So I'm trying to give you tools so that way you don't get discouraged and make the little small mistakes. Yep. Okay. So we found x equals 4. And what we know is the converse of the triangle proportionality theorem. What the heck does that mean? Okay, cool. So, hey, guess what? If, wait, that's not the converse. Dang. It's the corollary. It's one of the corollaries we get from these. So if those 3 parallel lines cut a transversal and make the segments congruent, cut it so that way the segments are congruent. If those same 3 lines cross another transversal, guess what? These are going to be congruent as well. They may not be congruent to the other side, but they'll be congruent to each other. Whatever. They'll be congruent to each other. What I mean by that is like, hey, look, these two are going to be congruent to each other. 2/3 y plus 3 is going to be equal to 1/3 y plus 6. Because I have 3 parallel lines, if it cuts one transversal into congruent segments, it will cut any other transversal they cross into congruent segments. So you can guess the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these little fraction babies. So 3 times 2/3, more or less that bottom part cancels out. But don't forget to distribute the 3 to every single thing. 2y plus 9 equals y plus 18. Subtract y minus 9. So that goes away, that goes away. Y equals 9. Wonderful. Wonderbar. Find the value of x. Pretty close. Find the value of x. So 6 over 16 will give you the same thing as 9 over x. Cross multiply, 6x equals 144. Divide by 6. You get x is 24. So it looked like a hard problem, but honestly it was pretty short. It's just proportionality. Just gotta like practice, honestly, that's all it is. Find the perimeter of ABC if these are similar. Ooh, this is a great problem because you're gonna have to find the lengths of the other sides. Find the lengths of the other sides. Alright, so A, B, C congruent to D, E, F. Okay, so what that means are B to C is corresponding to E to F. Why did I point that out? Why is that important? B to C corresponds to E to F. B to C corresponds to E to F. So we see we can get the constant that we're going to be multiplying by, right? What is the scale factor, the ratio? So I want to find the scale factor. So I know 24 over 18 is the scale factor. 24 over 18, which is 3 over 2, that's the scale factor. And this is why I say it's very important for our letters to go in order. A corresponds to D, B corresponds to E, C corresponds to F. So, okay, we want the perimeter of this first triangle. We know the scale factor. And we also know the perimeter is also going to have the same scale factor. So if I find the perimeter of this first triangle, right, the perimeter of this guy, perimeter is going to be 14 plus 9 plus 18. So that's going to be 10, 20, 37, 41. Yeah, 41. And keep in mind, the scale factors, I did 24 over 18. So I did the bigger triangle over smaller. So when I do the ratio for the perimeters, I'll do the perimeter of the big triangle over the perimeter of the smaller. So scale factor is 3 over 2 because it was the bigger triangle over smaller. So I'll do bigger perimeter. I don't know what it is. I'll just say P, capital P. That's perimeter of ABC. Of triangle ABC over perimeter of smaller, which is 41. So if we cross multiply, let me pause here. Do we understand where I got this? What am I doing here? Perimeter, well, as Dylan said earlier, it's literally just the length of the sides all added together. And we already talked about this. Perimeters of two similar triangles are also, like, proportional to the same scale factor. 3 times 41 is equal to 2 times perimeter. 3 times 41, 123. So divide by 2, the perimeter is going to be 123 divided by 2, or you could say 61.5. Did we get units? No, we did not. So that would be it. Just 61.5. They didn't give us the units. Because, okay, so we went through, we found the scale factor. Okay, so how much did I enlarge or shrink it? We found the perimeter, and the perimeter is still going to have the same scale factor. Okay. And lastly, 2 questions, fun little questions, solving for x. Find the value of x. Okay, so here, what is this line right here? What's being drawn? It's the medians. Going from a vertex to a midpoint. It's a median. Okay, so any idea how we could solve for x? No idea. I have no idea. 25 over 40. Yeah. So what we did was we said, hey, the side from the small triangle over side from the big. So I'll have side from the small triangle over side of the big. Okay, and then just cross multiply it. So 25 times 2x plus 1 is going to equal 40 times x plus 4. $50x plus 25 equals 40x plus 160. Yeah, you could. So you could say both these are divisible by 5, so that's a 2. That's going to be 27. Yeah, you could leave it as 27 over 2. That's fine. Right, and last problem. Woo. All right, so here I have an angle bisector. How do I know it's an angle bisector, Ashton?
You know it's an angle bisector because the angle splits the angles in half.
Exactly, it splits the angles in half. You see the congruence, the angle on each side of it in half. Okay, so what I'd like to do is have this triangle versus that one, right? So I could do like a 20 over 30 equals, I don't know, over x, right? So it's like 20 over the 30 equals this length over that length. 28 minus x. Exactly. How did you figure that out? Well, if this length is x and together they equal 28, you take 28 minus x, and that'll be the length. Okay, once we have that, like the hardest part is setting up the ratio. Once we have this, we can just cross multiply. Ooh, 30 times 28. So I'll write out 30 times 28 minus x equals 20x. So 840 minus 30x equals 20x. Add 30x on both sides. 840 equals 50x. So 840 over 50 equals x. So that's going to be the same thing as 84 over 5, which is 16.8. Either one of those would be fine. Okay, cool. So I'll give you guys like 5 more minutes to work on homework while I print out the notes, and then we'll go right for them.